Sorry my eyes have these circles around them. I was just swimming and I was wearing some swimming goggles. And as a result, I have these marks on my face. I hope they won't last long. There, that's better. That's right, the title is not lying. I won an award. No, it's not that big of a deal, but it's still cool. I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's rewind to a few months ago. My mother was getting me all excited to enter a writing contest. Finally, we decided on the Alice Munro Festival of the Short Story contest. All I had to do was write a short story and submit it with the entry fee of $10, which kind of sucked because then it's like gambling, right? If you don't win, then you lose money. So anyway, I wrote the story in the span of about 2 hours. It was definitely not my best work, but I thought it was pretty good. Then I gave it to my parents, and they thought it was right. I submitted it about a day before the deadline, and then I forgot about it for a couple of months. Until I got this email. Whoa, my story was in the top 10. I jumped up and down in excitement. Then I forgot about it for 2 weeks. Until I got this other email. My story was one of the runners-up. At the time, I had no idea what that meant. I knew it didn't mean first place, or second, or third, but according to Kahoot.it, there's a first, second, third, and then 2 runners-up, right? But I was still excited. I was getting some sort of prize, and all I had to do was give them my mailing address. Or I could go to the festival and pick it up there, which is what I did. So that's all the backstory. Now let's get on with the forward story. When I remembered we were going to the festival, I decided that this could make for some content. Not good content, but content. So I ultimately decided I wanted to vlog it. What do you say? It's pronounced vlog. No, it's not. I took a lot of inspiration from Sopro, which is this awesome YouTuber that I watch. Shout out to Sopro. I'll link his video in the description, the one that inspired me. But anyway, I'd never made a vlog before, so I didn't really know what to do. Was I just allowed to record people's faces without their permission? Was I supposed to record the whole thing, or just start recording when I thought something interesting was gonna happen? On June 3rd, the day of the festival, I just knew that it was a pineapple button-up shirt kind of a day. I said goodbye to my family, got in the car. Actually, it's kind of cloudy. And drove many hours from my house back in, your mom. So the festival was celebrating short stories, but I gotta be honest with you, I don't read, which is weird because I love writing. But anyway, I had no clue who Alice Munro was. So my mom had to tell me that she's one of the most famous short story writers in Canada. But honestly, I was mostly just concerned with getting my prize and getting out. After the long drive, we drove some more. And then after that, we drove some more. Sorry, I just can't emphasize enough how much of this event was just driving. But finally, we made it to the library where we thought this festival was taking place.
I love you.
Hi. It was weird because there were only like 8 cars and a needle disposal. So if we thought this would be some kind of huge outdoor celebration taking up so many streets and having so many people, we were wrong. We went in and asked this librarian about the festival. She gave us some directions, and we were out of there. Back to the car.
That's not my car.
Nope. Seems like a very, quiet event. I guess it wasn't taking place in this library after all. Then we drove downtown and went to this church. They asked if I was Tristan, which was friggin' awesome. I felt like a famous person.
So how did you hear about the contest?
Well, my mom did all the research, and she was just looking up contests for me to enter. And
She's a bookstagrammer, so she sees that kind of stuff all the time.
That's great.
A book influencer online, and so yeah, it just kind of popped up in my feed, and I like writing too, so it was something that we were both supposed to do together, but he actually completed it.
Your sunglasses on, Hollywood.
But I'm one of the runners-up in this contest. I got in for free with my parents. The email I had gotten had said I could get in for free with 1 guest. So we tried to look online to see if we could purchase my dad a ticket, but they were no longer selling tickets anymore. because the email was such short notice. So we decided to risk it and bring Dad in anyways and just see if he could get in for free as well. And they didn't even bat an eye at registration. And we all got past smoothly and sat down at a table. It says here that the Luncheon and Short Story Awards is from 1:30 to 3. So, after all of those hours of driving, now we're gonna wait a few more hours for the awards to start. And then this nice couple sat down with us. We talked for a little bit until it started. The festival began with a bunch of authors, like reading aloud from their books, which I thought was kind of a funny idea. It's like we were a bunch of kindergartners and it was story time, but anyway, that was cool. Then they asked if the audience had any questions for them, and I expected my mom to raise her hand. The whole reason she wanted to come here in the first place was because she's obsessed with books. Like, she's literally based her entire internet personality off of it. You can find her on Instagram at myburstingbookbag. But anyway, it wasn't my mom who was asking the questions. It was my dad. In fact, he asked all the questions. He was the only one who raised his hand. Then we went outside to warm up because Dad was complaining about the high air conditioning, which I kind of like. I could not understand why he thought it was too cold, but anyway, so we just kind of stood around outside with a bunch of old people who also thought it was too cold inside. Pretty much everyone at the festival was over the age of 60, and I'm pretty sure they all complained about how cold it was inside, and they somehow convinced the staff to just shut off the air conditioning altogether, which was, definitely worse. I thought maybe they'd just lower the intensity of the air conditioning, but no, they just shut it all off. And then it felt like we were having zero circulation in the building. Finally, we had the luncheon, which basically means lunch, but with more letters. I was pretty worried they were only gonna offer food I did not like, and when the food was revealed, I seriously considered getting a plate of only pickles, because that's the only thing I recognized. But Mom convinced me to get a little bit of everything, and it was alright. The only thing we didn't touch was the pulled pork, because my mom and I are vegetarians. Well, actually, that's a lie. We are vegetarians, except we eat fish, and seafood, and chicken, and turkeys, and any other bird you can think of. It was basically a no red meat diet, which I've had since I was little, but my dad sure enjoyed his pork. We had our food with a sparkly lemonade that may or may not have been alcoholic. After lunch, we finally got on with the awards.
Begin the rest of the events for today. Hard to get people to stop talking. Having a good time.
Hey!
They started with youth, which was my category.
It's a scary thing for anybody to put their work out there, but I think especially for young emerging writers, it can be really intimidating to submit your work for people to read. So I really commend the youth writers in the room for putting their work out there.
But for some reason, they began announcing third place.
So we'll start with our third place winner.
Thought maybe they'd do the runners-up first. Then I thought maybe they're gonna do them after. But then they said the title of my story.
It's called, the story that won is called Perfect World.
And then it hit me. I had won third place the whole time without even knowing it. Also, they said that this was out of 73 entries across the nation. Third place in the country. The judge said that she could easily see my short story becoming a novel, which was pretty cool.
And just a few comments that I had about this story. It was an incredibly imaginative story about the price of perfection and what one person can do to change the world. And I can easily imagine this short story turning into a novel. So I really thought this was a wonderful story. The winner is Tristan Douglas.
So then they announced my name and I awkwardly went up to get my award. What? Why did I bow like that? Then they announced second, and the dude was not there. Then they announced first, and the girl went up to get her award. And hey, look at that, she bowed, just like I did. What can I say? I guess I'm a bit of a trendsetter. But I wasn't really paying attention. I was too busy wondering what was inside my envelope. I knew it was some amount of money, but I had forgotten how much it was, like how much it said on the website. Also, I could kind of see a certificate in there, and I got really excited. Then we took some pictures. stories. I went up and congratulated the first place girl, and we took some pics with the judges, who were both published authors, by the way. After another long, boring read aloud from an author, we finally decided to go.
Alright, that was pretty cool, and now we're going home.
We got in the car to head home, and once we got there, I made myself an entire box of Kraft Dinner, and I didn't have to share it with anyone, so that was nice. In conclusion, follow your dreams. Thank you for watching, and if you want to read the short stories of the contest winners for this year, I'll put a link in the description. It should be on their website. And finally, this video is sponsored by no one.